ready for a very special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way.
Right. And a very special day. It is a wonderful Wednesday. That means my partner in crime, my co-host this morning is Bradley Gilbert from Walmart. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Becky.
Happy Wednesday, right?
Happy Wednesday, absolutely.
I like it. All right. We do have the Salem School Corporation in. We're so happy. This is our Education Wednesday, and I'm going to let you guys just introduce yourselves, and they're going to want to hear your voices anyway. And you can put voice to name whenever we start our conversations.
I'm Emily Johnson. I'm the Imagine Lab teacher at the elementary school.
Crystal Michaels Creation Station at the elementary.
And I am Jessica Morgan, and I am the STEAM person at the middle school, the high school, and sometimes I venture off to the elementary, but yeah.
Yay! Well, we're going to have a wonderful program, Brad. We're going to learn a lot today. Okay? We're going to get our lesson today at school.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's thank our sponsors.
All right, we've got Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fox Plea Wealth Management, Mama Rose's, Leader One Financial and Equal Housing Lender, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gubb.
Yay! And everybody looks very festive today. We're all ready for and I think we've counted down.
Except for me.
I know, Brad. Brad didn't get the memo.
Just imagine.
That's
I almost wore a Christmas sweater today, but it's tomorrow at work, so I apologize. I'm bringing the curve down.
That's
so,
okay.
ladies,
No. We needed a pop of blue in there. So that's okay.
My Walmart blue.
The Walmart blue, that's right. All right, we're on to the 6th day of December. We said 8 days till school's out, right?
8 school days.
8 school days. There's
different.
different.
Saturday and Sunday.
That's right. Okay. 8 school days. Today is Mitten Tree Day. Mitten tree. Anybody wear mittens anymore?
No.
Nope. Okay. All right. National Cook for Christmas. Who does the cooking? Anybody does any good cooking?
I do, but not now. It'll be closer to Christmas.
Well, if you want to go ahead and start,
if you want to practice,
Brad and I'll be right over. Okay,
Yeah.
Definitely. We'll come try it. Okay, cook for Christmas. Maybe it means like making candies. I would think it'd be baked for Christmas.
Cookies.
Maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
baking.
Cookies. Do you guys like to bake or cook?
I do more cooking.
I do more baking.
Baking.
What's your specialties? We need to know this. I'm taking notes over here.
Mrs. Michaels has more specialties than I do. I like to do cookies and pies.
Ooh.
I don't know that I have a specialty. I just like to try new recipes and bake whatever I can bake.
You got anything new you're going to throw in the fan this year?
No, I don't think so. No.
What about you, Bradley? You doing any?
Well,
Bradley can pull really good, it together really good.
Yeah, I do a lot. One thing that I do every Christmas is it started out with my great grandma, but she has a homemade banana cake recipe with caramel icing that you have to cook on the stove and everything. So that's my contribution every year to our family Christmas.
Is
thing.
it just so moist? Is it almost like a bread?
It's good. Yes. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
But I can,
I know.
yeah.
You know your way around the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Right now, Jeannie's like, you better.
Yeah.
You better. Yeah.
And this is also National Microwave Day. Microwave oven. How many people use microwaves?
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
I don't think teenagers could survive now,
Oh no,
really,
you can make anything in the microwave.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Yeah.
come such, yeah.
Mhm.
And then like you've had your microwave for a long time, and then when you get a new one, you forget like how fast it cooks. It's like, oh my goodness, like I didn't realize how old my microwave was. National Pawnbrokers Day.
Okay.
Put on your own shoes day. Okay. Okay. Special Kids Day. Ooh, St. Nicholas Day. Love that.
Oh, yes.
So get out and enjoy. Those are some holidays. All right, wonderful. All right, Bride, we're going to jump in and find out. You've got some big events coming up, and we're
Yep.
going to talk about that. Then we're going to get to the education.
Yeah, next Wednesday, the 13th, Walmart, like I had anything to do with it, but Walmart added an extra event. So we're going to have some targeted electronics and stuff for your home and all of that type surprises. Walmart Plus members will have access to that early, but that's next Wednesday, the 13th. So we're excited about that. All of our products that have been on the previous two sales that we have, they're replenishing. We've decided, and again, I say we like I have anything to do with it. The HR guy doesn't get to decide anything, but they are keeping everything replenishing this year, not just targeted for what our sales were, and they're going to stay at the Black Friday prices through
Yay.
Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So we're excited about that. And then we started doing additional rollbacks on our Christmas shop, or ornaments, trees, everything. And we're going to start getting rid of the display trees. So come see Scott, and certain ones of those are going to go ahead and go out the door. And there's nothing wrong with them. They've just been displays that have been set up and things like that. So now's a good time to really, even if you haven't put up your tree yet, there's time and to get some great deals on that. And then all of our stuff over in the bakery, cupcakes, cakes, pumpkin rolls, cookies, everything is really ready. And we are, football's going strong, so we have everything that you would need for game time. And then for our holiday meal, we are keeping prices low, so everything there is on sale. So come
Love
get
that.
it.
Love
Yep.
that. And we love that. And keep rolling in those trucks and bringing and supplies and demand.
Yes.
We love that. Yeah. Want to also remind everybody, last Saturday we you hosted, and I got to be a part of Shop with a Cop. How wonderful. Over 107 children in our community, and they were still
Yes.
shopping.
Yes.
After the officers they left, and they were ready to, and McDonald's fed them. Everything was it's so awesome how it all works. Brad Noggle and Abby Powers were in charge of it. They did it so good. They did such a great job, and a shout out to them and everybody involved at Walmart for you to accommodate everyone, and then to give a big discount. And then afterwards, so the officers left and they were on their way to go eat, and people were still shopping for Shop with a Cop.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a wonderful thing. And and there was I think it's amazing how communities come together, and the Shop with the Cop program is always amazing. And there was state, there was Indiana DNR, there was even some folks from Mitchell, the Salem, Washington County. I mean, there was just so many groups. And I think the thing that always amazes me is that I was talking to a couple of the folks shopping, and they're like, oh, we have last minute. There's 3 more last minute. Can we do it? Absolutely. And so I think they added, an additional 5 or 6,
I know,
that day. And it's just amazing. And they don't say no. And we're just glad to be a part of that. And Donetta and her team in apparel to make sure they have great selection of coats and clothing, and Lindsay and her team with the toys and everything. And it's just amazing to see. And so there's really nothing that can't be accommodated, and it's great to see. And it's also wonderful for these kids and families to see police officers in a different light. I mean, that's important, but I'm so proud of our community and all the folks we help. We're just a small part of it. And I am glad that we do offer the same employee discount for that.
Yeah.
So that's
It
a
helps
cool
that.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, but it's great, and it's emotional if you're not there, and emotional in a good way. You think about, I sometimes, I complain about having too much stuff and things like that, and this time of year it's good to just be reminded of that. There's folks, but the good part of it is there's so many people in this community working together to look out for other people.
Right. What
Very
a blessing.
proud moment.
Yeah. Very, very good. And hats off to everyone involved. And everybody was so nice, so kind, and helped each other out, to help get sizes. And it's a great program. It was a little earlier this year, but it worked out well because then they have their winter coats and gloves and all of their, nice clothing for the whole season.
Yeah.
So I think that's nice.
There was a young man there that, a quick story, and then we'll get to you ladies. There was a young man there that he was just there with some folks that were helping shop for other people. And he noticed I was walking around with my iPad, and I always walk around with my iPad because for those of you out there who have not been backstage, so to speak, at Walmart, we do a lot of pictures and things of things that we do. And we hang them up for the associates to see, and things just to see what all we do, and get to see things going on. And so I take a lot of pictures, and I've gotten to where I kind of have taken that over. But this one young man was there. He was helping shop for other kids, and he just walked over to me and he said, "Hey," he's probably 6, 7. He's a little guy. He walks over and he goes, "Hey, can I see that iPad for a second?" I'm like, "Sure." And so I handed it to him, and I just, he goes, "Well, let me see those pictures you've been taking." So he had noticed that I was taking pictures. He knew right where to go, and he scrolled through the pictures, and he looked at them. He's like, oh. And then he handed it back to me, and he said, "There you go. I just wanted to see the pictures." He said, "But you don't have a picture of me yet." So I had to get a picture of him.
I love that.
So that was pretty cool. So it's just amazing how young they are, the technology, and he's like flipping through, and I'm just like, okay, here you go.
Yeah. These ladies are like, "Tell me about it," right?
Yeah.
You guys are like,
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have let him send a couple emails for me or something like that.
You
too.
probably could have.
But it was
probably
amazing. So
yeah.
it's like things like that. It's just at that age, he's learning the life lesson of giving back already. So I think that's important.
Yeah. So awesome.
All right.
So hats off to everyone involved in that. So wanted to, yes, very good, very good. All right, let's jump in. And who wants to kick off first? And let's talk about what we got coming up. We got a lot going on. Very busy time.
Well, excuse me. We are very excited that we are finally to the point where we are getting to have our dedication ceremony for the safe rooms at the middle school and the high school. And we will be having that on December 14th. We will start at the middle school at 4. And at the middle school, I plan to have several students out with all of our new equipment. They will be running anything from a 3D printer to a Cricut for people to see and come in and see what the new space looks like and how we are utilizing it. And when people are finished at the middle school, probably around, Dr. Thurston says 4:30, we will move to the high school and see the new arts room inside the safe room, and get a chance to hear the band and the choir at that time, and get a look at that new elevator that we've been waiting for so long. And so we're pretty excited to open that up to the public and invite people in to see what we've been doing for over 2 years of planning and getting this program going. So I hope it's a good evening, and I hope everyone comes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was so, it was going back real quick. We got the, Dr. Reed really worked hard to get the first grant, and we got the grant for the Brady Shrum. And because it was the largest school is why that one was chosen. We could pick one school. I'm just kind of giving the history of this. And it was kind of a sad in the fact of, it was great for the Brady Shrum, but also you had the middle school and high school that you wanted to accommodate. So whenever we received the green light that we could accommodate two more safe rooms for the middle school and high school, which this is like not heard of. I mean, this is like a God thing that we have this, such a blessing. So now all 3 schools will have this. And so when we initially, received that we could do this, we have been wanting for the high school, wanting a choir room and a band room so bad, and we knew we needed that. So that worked out wonderful. But then the middle school was kind of up. in the air, kind of figuring out, we're getting blessed and utilized with this space. How can we accommodate, and what would be the best for our students? And I think it was such a blessing that we come up with the STEAM room.
STEAM Center.
STEAM
And
Center.
it is a beautiful space. It's
And-
fabulous. We have all kinds of things in there. So
I can't wait. And for those maybe that are not familiar with STEAM, explain STEAM and what all you guys do, and tell us a bit about that.
well, STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, and we try to bring in things to supplement or enhance what teachers are doing in the classroom, to bring in those core topics and make it more meaningful for what the students are already doing in their room with their classroom teachers, and we kind of add a little extra to that. And so
Well, it
we are
used to be
covering all those
STEM.
topics.
It used to be STEM,
Yes.
and then we realized let's add more to this and make it STEAM.
Mhm. And so we do include art where we can,
Love
or
that.
arts. I
Mhm.
will say not just art, because we do try to include some of the other types of arts instead of just art,
Right,
like
love
music and band and the social arts.
Well, and it just seems like everything has just really flowed really well. And we to get to design this, from up north, there were like some blueprints, and we thought that they would probably, there would be a charge, and they were like, no, you can have it. And there was already somebody set up with one, and what a blessing that we could use that. And even, or, if we needed to modify it, change it a little bit to accommodate us, but what a blessing that we had those blueprints to do that. That worked out really well.
It's for our benefit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So, Jessica, hats off. And I know you're busting for this day. And I know, couldn't come
It's
quick enough.
finally here.
I know. But we know in construction, it's a hurry up and wait sometimes,
Yeah.
And of course there's some rocky area there. There's,
Mhm.
Other things that, that you have to wait on, like an
Oh, yes.
elevator. You just can't go get an elevator at Walmart. You know what I mean?
True.
I don't know. I bet some Walmarts maybe.
Yeah.
I bet somewhere
Order
online.
online and have it delivered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. It just didn't.
And we'll bring it to your home for free.
I'm sure. Would you
We will.
install that too?
Yes,
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. But anyway, so let's find out, Crystal and Emily. Let's find out a little bit what your play is and all this. So let's talk what you guys got going on too. Let's get.
So at the elementary school, we have our STEAM, and it's a special that they come on every 6 days. They see Miss Johnson first, and then they see me. It's on a 6-day rotation for 45 minutes, and we get to play with robots, and we do the engineering design process. We have 3D printer. We have the laser cutter. We have smaller scale of what they have at the middle school. And that's what we do with our space. But right now, Emily and I have been knee deep in our very first STEAM sponsored holiday shop. So our 5th graders have been busy elves, and they have designed everything under the sun. We've got coffee mugs, we have wood ornaments, we have wooden earrings, 3D printed keychains. We've used we've got pot holders, we've used vinyl, and the kids have gotten to come in and shop for their loved ones. And the kids have learned how to use design software like Canva. So they designed ornaments, they designed coasters, and they've made everything that we've sold.
They got to go through the process from start to finish. So they designed it, they learned the software, then we either printed them or cut them, and then they went through quality control, making sure that things looked presentable, and then fully stocked our holiday shop for over 800 students.
Oh my goodness!
The entire school gets to go shop.
I am so impressed.
Mhm.
I want to shop. I think this is so cool.
Come on over.
This is so awesome. Okay, so think about I'm just like where we're at. I mean, this is crazy that this is going on. I mean, don't you think? I mean, like you think about like a student making, let's say, a pair of earrings or a coffee mug.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see, like maybe a teacher or, someone drinking that from that coffee mug. How knowing you made that
Yes.
for your teacher, how big would that be?
These kids have been very proud.
As
of
they
their
should
work.
be,
Yes.
as they should be. So let's talk about. I have to know the behind the scenes. I like bloopers. Did we make some bloopers? I mean, was there some that didn't go? And tell us, tell us some funny stories about things that didn't go quite right. Maybe were there some wanky earrings, a coffee mug that like a little bit off, or
So, well, one of the things right now and that is leather earrings, and there's two different shapes of earrings, and the kids put the earrings on the little card, and we just so happened and they mismatched the earring. There's
The wide oval and the skinny oval.
so they
So they pick them up and they're like, oh, these, I guess they look okay. So then we had them switch them around. Goes back to that quality control that
I was going to say,
we're
quality,
teaching
I
them.
love that. But I think
Yes.
nowadays, I think you could probably go with that. You know what I mean? I think,
I'm
they
sure
have-
someone probably bought.
I'm sure Betsy Johnson, who does the designer, I'm sure she would pick up on that,
Yes.
we've had to talk supply and demand.
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about like there are some things that are more like we're running out of that the kids are buying. Like we talked about that yesterday with the fifth graders, and we talked, normally in a society, if the supply is lower than the demand, it would cause your price to increase. But we weren't increasing our price, even though we had that demand. We were still keeping our prices the same. And the kids are going to, the money that we're raising, we're going to allow the children to kind of give an input on things that they want to buy for the STEAM space. And they wanted to, like yesterday, the kids wanted to buy another heat press. They wanted another vinyl cutter. They wanted another laser cutter. And so it's really putting them in the driver's seat.
Well, and they're also looking at the future because they may not necessarily get to use the items that we buy because they're the fifth graders. So we only have them for one more semester. But they're looking at, how can we leave the STEAM space better for the kids that are coming up?
I love that.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
there's a lot of life lessons right there.
Oh, yes.
That's a huge blessing. So let's go back. I should have Emily, how many years have you been teaching?
This is my 14th year.
Okay, so
teaching.
let's roll back 14 years. Would you ever dream that this is, no, I mean, right?
Oh, no, I
And-
never would have. My first year, I taught sixth grade social studies and language arts at the middle school. Never would have imagined doing a STEAM program and being a specials teacher and all of that I'm doing now.
Yeah, I know. We've just come such a long way. And it seemed like it came fast. Do you feel like that?
It did.
I mean,
This is Crystal's and mine, our third year in the STEAM room with the STEAM program. And we're trying to build it so that by the time they get to middle school, they have some of the skills that they need so that they can do bigger and better stuff with the space at the middle school.
Jessica, that has to make you over the moon. You talk about a feeder program.
Yes, because
I mean,
having them already know how to use the equipment when they get there just opens the possibilities of activities and things that we could do. And I would not have to spend time training them on how to use the equipment because they already know how to do it. So.
that's fantastic.
So you think about, what people normally talk about is that, preparing our kids for college and not the same amount, or there's a lot of kids in all the schools out there that are not going to go to college. So tell us a little bit about how this is giving opportunities and impacting those students that may be going to trade school or going into the workforce and then maybe even being entrepreneurs themselves. How has this benefited more students with this STEAM program?
Well, I will say at the middle school, having the hands-on activities of the equipment that they may use if they go into the workforce in a trade skill, it's some of the same equipment, maybe just a little bit lower on the scale. And we do have a STEAM community board that we have formed to help give some guidance for us on the workforce application part, which was a requirement of our STEM certification application. We had to have that, and some of those people have been giving us some pointers and some ideas of how we could help those students who may not go to college and they're wanting to be in the trade school area. And so we're trying to incorporate a little bit more of just using everyday tools like, drills and hammers and saws. And instead of, not everyone is going to 3D print because they may not need to 3D print, but they need to know how to use a drill or a saw. And so trying to incorporate some more of the basic skills that you would need for a trade has been very important to us.
We've
Yeah.
also,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
we've also been focusing on some of the skills that some businesses had said that they want to see in their employees, like being accountable, following a deadline, communicating with others, things that if we can instill in the kids now, it will just help them
Those
in the future.
deadlines are a hard thing for
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Working
That's
on
hard
it.
to find
them.
for us,
Yeah.
all of us,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
You know, the
Yeah.
deadline. Yeah.
So that puts them again ahead, just like the kids that we've got college classes before, then these kids are, and it makes them more competitive in the work environment, right? Okay.
Love that. Crystal, let's talk with you. How many years have you been a teacher then?
This is, I believe, my 24th, 25th year. So
And so how have you felt, about this? And I guess, how did you get on board? And yeah.
this has been a whole different, would have never thought this would have been the direction I would have gone. Though I did, when I got my teaching license, I've always had an interest in computer science and computer literacy. So it makes sense that I've kind of gone this direction, because that's what my endorsement is in on my license, is computer literacy. It's a totally different realm than the general classroom, and it's the kids, just to see the pride in their face of what they're able to accomplish and goals. Even as simple as, like, last year we had some issues with tables falling apart, and the kids were able to get their hex screw or whatever and adjust the tables and fix them for us in like kindergarten and first grade. Like, it's really cool to see how they take ownership and are involved in.
And their mindset kind of is changing to where when we first started this, there were lots of tears whenever they failed at something.
Oh.
And they're like, I can't, some of them wouldn't even try. Like, I can't do it. And now you can kind of see that doesn't happen anymore. They know that eventually they'll figure it out and that they can do it. So that kind of goes back to the tables. They saw a problem, and in our classrooms, we solved problems, and they were able to figure it out on their own.
Love that. That gives them a lot of confidence, right?
Oh, yes.
Jessica, how long have you been a teacher then?
Well, this is my 18th year. I've always been science. I started out with chemistry and physics, and then switched to biology, and I taught biology for 10, 11 years, something like that. And
a little side note there, Mrs. Morgan was my student teacher when I took biology in high school.
When I was student teaching, Emily was one of my students.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so cool. That's
Yeah.
neat.
That
Comes full circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
That's
interrupted.
okay.
I interrupted.
No, what I was saying. But yes, I've always been science, and I would have never dreamed that this was the route that I would go. The whole different skill set that is needed to be able to teach these activities and what we are teaching now is completely different than what it was when we started teaching. Like, we have all had to learn all kinds of new technology and new tools and just new ways of teaching, because it's not the same as what it was when we started.
Right. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, tell some of the different ways, I guess, to go in a little bit further with that.
Okay. Well, I think when I started teaching, of course, the science part, it was always like, there's a lesson, and then there's a lab, and then there's a quiz, and we may do another lab, and they were really more teacher guided. And now it's a little bit more student guided. Students are making the decisions, and I'm helping them figure it out and help guide them. But I'm giving them an idea of, hey, let's create a Christmas ornament. And then they are coming up with the ways to create that ornament, and I'm just helping them through the process and not telling them you have to have a circle or you have to have a square. They figure out what they need.
We kind of facilitate the learning experiences, and then they take it their own direction.
A lot more student driven than teacher driven. In the past, it was more rigid and right and wrong, and now it's just whatever the kids want to do.
And even like if we're doing an engineering project where they have to build a tower out of certain materials, we don't tell them how to build it. And sometimes they pick their own materials and they come up with all kinds of ideas. Just letting that creativity flow.
And sometimes they realize they don't like those materials.
And then
they go back and they
we learn that
change.
it's okay to start over.
Do you remember, roll back years ago. Brad, we're going to go back. We'll
Uh-oh.
go back in the time machine.
Uh-oh.
Remember whenever there was like an egg, you had to take an egg and you had to be able to drop it.
Oh, yeah. they
Oh,
still do
yes.
that. Mhm.
And then, but like it couldn't break or something.
Mhm.
Remember? And I remember like, oh my goodness, so many eggs. Yeah. So many eggs went through trying to figure that out. And I think that was like back then is when you kind of started learning that like you had to really start thinking and you had to be creative. And that to me was probably something that was very rare in that we weren't like you said, the lesson, it was you got to figure it out yourself. And we've learned that that's the way to do. It's such a great, that wasn't usually on the table very much years ago. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we've learned that you almost like aren't putting them like you're not putting children in a box. You're letting them go as far as they can with their imagination, which we know they've got.
Yes.
So this is just like it's like fantastic.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And encouraging them to be creative. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like just awesome. And I think the kids, I think at first though, it's probably hard when you first started. Let's say we've had this program for 3 years.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's go back. At first the concept was a little different, right?
They wanted the kids wanted you to tell them how to do it.
Right.
And now after they've been in, they realize that it's okay to have a different approach. Johnny can do it with a circle and Susie can do it with a square. It's still going to solve the problem in the same manner.
Mhm.
I always zone back into a former principal, Mr. Ralston, and Mr. Ralston would always say that there's more than one way to trap a mouse. So I always use that with my kids of like, you may use peanut butter, you may use cheese, or like there's so many different methods of accomplishing your goal. And just because you're doing this doesn't make you right or wrong. You just had a different approach.
I love that.
Yeah, isn't that a good thing to think about? Like, even in elementary, we're teaching, you guys are teaching life lessons that, nowhere in life when you're out on your own does someone give you a thing and say, this is the steps to make this successful or whatever. So it's interesting to see that. I think kids are sometimes more adaptable than adults as far as this is where they wanted someone to tell them exactly what to do. And now 3 years later, they're already the mindset. I think they adapt quicker. And I think that's interesting. You guys talked about changes in technology as teachers. I talked about the little boy that was so proficient with my iPad. So what are some of the ways technology has impacted you as teachers in a positive and maybe an opportunity way?
Well, excuse me. I think that the students are very quick at figuring out the technology. And there are some pieces of equipment in the lab now that I still am struggling with because I just haven't used it as much. They're using it more than I am. And so they are just clicking away and figuring it out. And like the Cricut, I haven't really used the Cricut, but I have a couple of girls who they can make t-shirts and cards and stickers. And I'm like, okay, I need this made. And they'll figure out a way to make something pretty and make a Christmas card. And we've made all kinds of Christmas cards. So I've got girls making those. And that's not something that I am an expert on, but they have figured out how to do it. And so it's just one of those neat things of being in the lab. So.
We have at the elementary school, we have a couple robotics teams. And right now, one of the robotics teams is preparing for semi-state this weekend. And they are probably better coders and understand the robot, how to make it work better than we do. Because we gave them the tools to do it and they kind of they learned, they figured it out through trial and error. And now whenever they have a problem, if they said, oh, I can't figure out how to make this motor work, we said, all right, well, go ask someone else on the team, because I'm not sure.
I have to do that too.
Yes.
That's a
They
good
they
problem.
pick it up and they learn it and they retain it.
So going back on that, well, good luck.
Oh, thank
You
you.
mean this weekend?
Would you have thought 5 years ago that you heard an elementary
I know.
robotics team preparing for semi-state? How
Yes.
amazing is
Yeah,
that? How
yeah,
amazing is
yes.
that? Yeah, I'm sorry. That was-
Well,
yeah,
no, I
that's
know
right.
it's beyond. Okay, so let's explain a robotic competition. Okay, so are they okay? Like, are you given like you have to have this much? Okay, I'm just gonna this. I know I'm going rogue here. Okay, like this much metal, this much. Like, is there like do they have like a I guess an ingredients that you have to have, and then can you just build it however you want to build? Can
Do
you
they
build
have
an
to have a
R2D2?
restrictor plate? What's
Can you,
going
I
on
mean,
with
can you
that?
build an R2D2? Can you build a Rosie from the Jetsons? I mean,
You
what
can build, so we compete with Lego and
Okay.
Lego first. So we have to use all Lego materials. And there's 2 different types of robot hubs. They're kind of like the brains. You can use 2 different types. And the kids make their own robot. We give them, there's a couple like tutorials to get the base of it made, but then they add all the extra stuff to make it do whatever they need it to accomplish. And then there's a game board that has this year 15 different challenges on it. And each challenge is worth a different amount of points. They have to make the robot go to that challenge and do something, whether it's move a lever, put something in that area, take something out of that area. And then they have 2.5 minutes to get as many points as possible, following certain rules on what they can touch, what the robot can touch. And that is, so we are a team of 4th and 5th graders competing against up to 8th graders.
Oh,
That's our
big difference.
4th to 8th grade is our age category. And so our tiny team has qualified for semi-state, and they won a special award at the last one it was the Motivate Award, showing team spirit and inclusion and the core values.
Love that.
They were pretty awesome at that event.
Weren't you guys so proud of that? What a great
Very
award.
proud.
You know, and
Yes.
for others to notice.
Mhm.
I mean, you noticed, but
Yes.
then for others to notice.
Other people noticed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when like, okay, the 15 items, so each student like in their head has to like remember what to do.
Oh, yes.
I'm thinking, I mean, that's a lot, you know,
Oh, yes.
because not only the stress of remembering which lever, wrong lever, you know, and, you know, if you do something, but then also what to do next in the 15
Oh, yeah.
steps.
You have to set the robot up at exactly the right spot. You have to pick the correct program number, because all of the programs are on the robot. They made the programs on a Chromebook. They coded it.
Oh, okay. So the robot, so it's going to work
The
itself.
robot is,
You're gonna,
they came up with the program.
they programmed it to do all the
Yes,
15.
to go to the different areas. And so they have to pick the correct program. They have to set it up the right way. They have to hope that nothing is in its way.
Well, I was thinking, like, what if a Lego fell off?
Then it's on the game board, and they either have to,
Go over it?
well, they can try to go over it, or they can skip that mission, that challenge, and go to something else. But you can't touch it if it falls off, they can't touch it.
They have to think quick on their feet,
Yeah.
decide whether or not it's like if the robot goes off course and it gets stuck, they have to decide, do I keep my hands off? They have to look at their time and how much time they have left at the 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because if they touch it, they will lose 10 points.
10 to
They
15
lose
points.
10 to 15 points. So they have to make an executive decision. Do I grab it to restart it, or do I just let it
Mhm.
sit? And they have to really calculate their points, and there's just right and wrong ways to attach things. And
They've
things.
gotten very good at that.
It's pretty amazing to watch, because you can literally see their little minds just working it
Mhm.
through, and they look like they look at each other, and they're talking to each other
Yep.
about what the robot can do and can't do, and what should they do next, and we made a mistake, can we go back and fix it? And they are talking it through, and they just have to stand and watch.
Yes. They do it. They're up at the table, and Crystal and I are standing in the back. And at our regional event, one of the robot knocked into something, and it got in the pathway of another program. So when it came time to that program, you could hear the kids like saying, no, don't do it. Go ahead and move on to this one. It's not, that one's only 10 points. Go ahead and do this one. We'll get 20 points. And they changed their mission strategy in that 2.5 minutes because of what happened on the field.
Love that. So they're
Yes.
working smarter, not harder.
Yes. Yes.
I get told that all the time.
Uh-huh.
I
Yes.
need to do that. So how do you travel with this? I mean, like, so you're traveling. How do you, like, does someone put it on their lap? Do you have boxes, or how do you travel with that?
Very carefully.
Yeah.
We put them in boxes, and
Okay.
sometimes we use bubble wrap around them.
Okay.
When we went to Texas, we had this big suitcase thing that Crystal had found, and we wrapped that thing up inside that suitcase with styrofoam. And
One of our teams last year went to the World's competition in
Right.
Texas.
Yes.
And so we
What
had
an
we had
honor.
to fly with our robot and all the pieces. So that was very carefully. traveled.
How did they do it? Did you check it in, or did you have to have it, like, I mean, did you put it in like a carry-on, or?
No, it got checked.
Checked
It was in a
Were
super
you nervous wreck? Oh my goodness.
super
we put
hefty,
stickers on it, like
fragile.
Fragile.
Yes.
Fragile.
Uh-huh. But it made it there in one piece.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Made it back in a couple of pieces, but we were done by
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So that was
Who
okay.
cares? Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Well, what an honor. And what a great opportunity for our students,
Mhm.
right?
yes.
When you go to the Lego events, they're very good at teaching the kids, like, we're competitive, but we're competitive with ourselves. And everyone is just really nice there. Like, all the teams are telling each other good luck,
No.
asking them, how did you do this? And they're willing to share their ideas with everyone. And the kids notice, like, everyone's just so nice. Like, they want to talk to you. And that, I think, is a big part of why I like doing the Lego robotics, is they teach the kids, like, you're not trying to wish the other team fails. Like, you want them to do well also.
I love that. And that's what it's all about, cheering on each other
Mhm.
and being there for each other. And I think that what a blessing for Salem School Corporation to have this and to offer this. Don't you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, what a great opportunity for our students.
And we've worked on building it up. We brought Mrs. Morgan on board last year with one of our little teams, just to kind of get her feet wet in it. And then this year,
We've started a team at the middle school, and then I have a high school team as well. But we're nowhere near ready for competition this year. When we got our equipment in, it was a lot different than the Legos that they had used in elementary school. It was all metal and gears and wires, and so we had to we've been building the robot since August. It has taken a while to get them built. So.
hers is the next level up.
Yeah.
A
So
little harder. Why would
a
you
lot
think so?
harder.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think so. So is that something in elementary, do you see going from Legos to metal, or is there in between, or what do you see, or just going to stay with the Legos?
Oh yeah, we're good with our
We're good with the Legos.
we're good with
That's- I
our
love
level.
that.
Yes.
Well, who doesn't love to play with Legos?
Oh yes.
I mean,
That's a very popular toy.
and when you can, I mean, my Legos don't move. Okay, my Legos just stand there. So
Mhm.
you're moving the Legos, and of course, I'm sure each design is totally unique.
Oh yes. Yeah. They have to. The kids built all of the stuff that's on our competition table. So all 15 missions, they had to follow the blueprints and build everything. And then they have to build it correctly because it has to work. And we discovered when we went to a practice scrimmage, we had built one of our missions. It wasn't completely incorrect, but it's a little dragon that pops out. This year's theme has to do with the arts. And it's a 3D immersion. The kids know the name of it. I call it the dragon.
Is it
And-
really a dragon?
Yeah, it's a little dragon head, and there's levers in the back, and they have to, ideally, when you look at it, you think, okay, I have to push these levers down to make the dragon head pop out. But then they asked, well, can we just pull the dragon head out instead of pushing from the other side? And we said, yeah, you just have to get the head past this line. And so they had made a little thing to go over the head and pull it out, and it attached to the horns of the dragon head. But when we got to the scrimmage, the horns, we had put them on the wrong way, and they were supposed to be laid back, so our attachment didn't connect to the horns on our scrimmage day. So they had to come up with something different for the next time. So, but they came up with it, they solved it, and have a new program that works with the correct build. But that just, we told them, was a learning experience. You have to.
Okay. All right. Bradley, have a great day then.
All right.
Okay.
So
Bradley's
sorry.
he's got Walmart. He's got some kind of rollback he's got to get to. Go do those rollbacks. Mark those prices down. Wow. Emily, that is so impressive. I'm like, that is just, yeah.
And that was one of those, we told them, all right, we'll figure it out. Figure out how did we build it wrong and come up with a new program.
Right.
And they did.
Right. And this is just like, I'm so happy that we have got this starting in elementary. Know that the more minds we use and the more that we work them, I mean, they can take all this in.
Oh, yes.
And this is like, so you meet once, how often do you get the kids? Or
for the robotics team, we would meet about twice a week for about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Right. What about so does every fifth grader have access to this?
To
Just the class.
Every student in Brady Shrum Elementary comes to our classes.
Oh, even the younger ones?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
K through 5 come to both of us.
Oh.
And so the fifth graders, every fifth grader worked on the Santa shop or the holiday shop.
Okay.
And then everyone in the building gets to go shopping at it. But all the students come to our classes. So they all get to use the robots, the 3D pens. They all get to do the engineering projects, the coding. They all get it.
Oh, wow. So what about like what's some impressive grades? Like, what are you seeing them like really when you guys notice that they really get it? Like, oh, they're getting it.
They all get it at some point. Even our kindergarten.
That's what
they know we haven't done it yet this year. We'll start after Christmas, but kindergartners, we teach them how to do computer coding, and they can make algorithms. They learn how to, I know in Mrs. Michael's class, she's got some robots and some big alphabet boards, and they program the robots to spell out their name or to find letters. So they are working on their letter identification with a robot that they have to program.
I would think the advantage of the kindergartners, of course, would be that they maybe don't know that there's not anything stoppable. You know what I mean? They have that open mind where everything's, a possibility.
Mm-hmm. They do.
And then, and then they get a little bit older, and then they're like maybe fifth grade, a little bit more scared of it, maybe. But then if they're getting it all through there,
we've noticed over the past, since year 1, we've noticed a change in the kids that most of them seem to be more open-minded and.
Yeah, because it's not like if you don't get it the first time, you just try it again, and it will. Is there something, Jessica, I'm not leaving you out, but I want to ask on the elementary, is there something like, what would you guys like to see? Like whenever they, when they say goodbye on the fifth grade, the last day of school, what do you want to make sure that they have in their toolbox, ready to go to see Jessica or Miss Morgan? Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
I think just knowing that they can be successful, knowing how to dig into their toolbox to try to solve those problems, just nothing nothing set in particular, just that they know how to use everything that they've been given, and they know how to problem solve, and they
know how to work together
and
communicate with each other. Those are big things that we hit on.
Collaboration, communication, critical
the
thinking.
4 C's, creativity. We try to focus on all of our projects, focus on those. So hopefully that'll carry over to the big kids.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. I'm seeing them collaborate. Sometimes they don't always agree when they
Right.
collaborate.
That's good, though.
They,
That's
they are
wonderful. That's
collaborating,
good.
and
Mhm.
I think for me, just knowing that that it's okay to be wrong and go back and correct something, because sometimes they get so focused on it has to be perfect, and knowing that they can go back and change it.
It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
perfect
it
the
doesn't
first
have to be
time
perfect.
or
Right.
the second time.
Right, exactly. And I think that just, that part of that confidence of knowing that, that it's okay. And I just can see that. I think, let's go back to school. We know that, and I'm just kind of sometimes it gets a bad rap that, like, in the fact of, oh, they've got to pass these tests and they just got to stay focused on, on making sure that, that our schools pass these tests and all these tests we give. And a lot of times there's not maybe that time to communicate, to work on these skills as far as, collaborating and also thinking and also figuring, problem solving and all of this that we're talking about today. So this is like, I just hope everyone's hearing this, of the great things that are going on. And yes, there are, there are testing, there are things that go on. We know that, but we have so many other great things too. These positives really need to be highlighted.
Well, even speaking of testing, we try to help where we can. And last year with the 4th and 5th grade, when they came to me second semester for probably about 5 weeks, I talked with the 4th and 5th grade teachers and found their math, kind of like their high priority standards, the skills that were going to be tested. And the kids, then I went and found examples of all of those problems. And then the 5th graders and 4th graders came in and they had robots, and they had to go solve a math problem. And then once they got the correct answer, they had to program the robot to go find the next problem. So they were getting to do all their robot stuff, but they were also practicing math problems to get ready for their test. So that was, we kind of bridged the gap there.
I love that. And as far as the, I think that's fantastic. I think it's awesome. So on our dedication day, which again, I do know all that, but I want you to tell it.
Okay, December 14th, 4 o'clock at the middle school in the new STEAM lab.
Right. So where Emily and Crystal, where will you two be? Will you be there? I hope. And
Yep.
Are you getting parent involvement? Let me ask, in the middle school or elementary school, are you getting parents that are really like, this is like awesome, and are you getting a lot of feedback from parents that are so grateful that this is being?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The kids enjoy coming and getting to do all the cool stuff. And we usually get pretty positive feedback.
I'm sure the parents, like when they come home, love to hear about this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. And right now we've got all of the merchandise ready for the store. And what day are we going to start shopping?
Well, we've been shopping since last Monday. We split. It's going to be open for 12 days total. So every student gets 2 days to go shopping. So all of our 2nd, 5th, and 4th graders have shopped. And yesterday started our 1st grade, kindergarten, 3rd grade. And there's still plenty of merchandise. Like our goal and plan is to have the same stuff available on the last day that we had at the beginning. So the kids are still they're still helping make stuff now.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that right there is like, that right is supply, right?
Yes.
And demand.
Yes. We've looked at what has been selling and what do we need to make more of.
What's been the biggest seller?
Do we want to? I don't know if we want to say it, because some of the kids wrapped them up, and they may be present. All of the stuff is wrapped up and labeled to who they're giving it to.
Oh, how cute.
So that it's a surprise when they take it home.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's everything they got was wrapped up and labeled to who they were going to give it to.
How nice.
Yes.
Boy, years ago, I wish that would have been fantastic to have, that shop, and then for the students to have made that. Now, Is this all 5th grade making, or some 4th grader stuff? No, this is all 5th graders.
All 5th graders.
All 5th graders work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep, every one of them.
I love that. And as far as, so let's kind of set the mood for the 14th. When people come, you'll say there'll be students like doing demonstrations?
Yes. We'll have stations that have different pieces of equipment, and students will be running that equipment. We'll have our robots out, 3D printers, laser cutter, the Cricut, probably the VR headsets, miniature toy box printers. Gotta go dig a little more. Maybe some we have these little things called microbits that connect to the Chromebooks that you can code and make the microbits say different words, and they play music, and probably get some of those out. So I hope to have probably 10 different stations for people to see what we've been doing, and some projects out. We'll probably have some student projects out. This week, 6th graders have been working on designing an animal to live in a specific habitat, and they've been building those animals. And then they're using the green screen room to make a blog about the habitats before the animals live. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So they make their own animal, or are they using like a
Nope,
regular?
they are making their own animals. They are coming up with a creature, we'll say, a creature
Oh, that's
that is unique, and they are building them in the lab, and then they're going to make a blog about their creature.
Oh, that's going to be really cool. That's cool. Well, and then I'm hoping that a lot of people, that I really want the community to come out to see.
Oh, me too.
And I hope that a lot of questions are being asked, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that, Crystal and Emily, you guys can help too, on that. And also talk about your program too. This is a good networking with the community to show what all the great things that are going on.
Right.
Well, and our students can answer questions too. So
Yeah.
they can ask the students about the robots or about the printer, and they can answer them.
Yeah,
They've got some good answers.
right. Yeah. And as far as the so then we'll have Christmas, and then afterwards, and then you've got more. Do you have more competitions, or how does that work? You've got one this weekend.
Right. If we qualify, so after semi-state would be state. If we qualify for state, that would be in January.
Okay.
So we'll find out after this weekend.
Well, best of luck.
Well, thank
yeah,
you.
Good luck with all that. Yeah. And how many students will you approximately be taking? How many will be going?
We have a team of 10 that qualified.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I've seen some of them in action. I think maybe have I, or this new team?
Some of them were on the team last year.
Yeah.
That went to Texas and came to the school board meetings.
That was so impressive.
Yes. So there's
That
a couple of those, and then we brought on new ones that some of them this was their first year in robotics, and they've grown a lot as well.
So you have the actual class, but then if they want to be in the club, like the robotics club, it's different.
Yes.
Okay.
So everyone gets to do robots in class,
In
and then
class.
we look at based on interest, and then how they work with others and how they do during our robotics and coding units for the competition team.
Awesome. Now, Jessica, is that something that you hope to someday get back into, or would you like to do some competitions too?
I think we will get there. We will get there.
Yeah.
It was just, our kids didn't come in until the end of August. And when
Oh,
we started building, it was like, there is no way. The kids voted. They decided on whether we were going to compete or not. And so we had a vote, and they decided that they didn't want to go do this yet because they were afraid they wouldn't be prepared.
Yeah, and that's smart. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the first year that we had the elementary robotics team, we didn't compete.
Mhm.
So we've had ours, this is probably year 5 or 6. Probably year 6 because we didn't compete the first year.
Right.
So it kind of takes you a little bit to figure out how it all works.
Right. Well, and Miss Morgan, Jessica, you're getting like, you got a new room,
I've been overwhelmed. So.
Well, no, I mean, and like you've had new stuff. I mean, remember it's like what 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, or whatever. You were like things were coming in like in boxes and stuff.
I had like a whole wall full of just boxes for a while.
Yeah. So now, I mean, and you got to get all that stuff up. And so, what's the most, I guess, like as far as in the middle school, what's the most impressive? Somebody's liking this. So, what's the most impressive, I guess, equipment, or I guess if you were like telling someone about your program, what would be the most impressive?
I think the most impressive is just to see the students collaborating and working together to design something and then making that design come to life. The students really like the laser cutter. They like that the best. They like the 3D printers too, but the 3D printers take a lot more time. And so they get a little anxious waiting. And so the laser cutter is a lot faster, and they like to see that happen quicker. But I think the best thing for us is just seeing that teamwork that they are doing and designing things that are completely new and working together. So.
Awesome. And will you have some merchandise when you start getting yours? Will you be selling some merchandise?
I would like to.
I thought we talked about that.
Yeah. For us, teachers schedule time to come into the lab. It's not something that the students do on a rotation or a regular basis. So getting them in there, the thought was maybe we could work with study hall and get study hall kids to come in and do it. We just haven't set out that plan yet.
Right. I'm not trying to. I know you're just trying to get it open, right? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And what about Crystal and Emily? What do you guys feel? I guess if you were what do you feel like the on your program?
Well, we've received lots of grants that have helped fund our rooms. And so, I mean, we have cool toys. We've got 3D printers, 3D pens. We recently got a smaller version of the laser cutter. We have all the cool stuff, but I would agree probably seeing the kids utilize it is the fun part, because we could have all this stuff, and if the kids don't use it, then it doesn't really serve us anything. So we've, like with the 3D printers, the older grades have used the 3D printers. The younger grades were like, that's a little too advanced. But then we said, well, how about some 3D pens? So then all the younger kids were still creating 3D stuff with just a different type of material. So I would say seeing them make stuff.
And while we've been doing the holiday shop, we've had some parent volunteers come in to help the kids shop. And we've had parents say, oh, hey, my kid asked for a 3D printer for Christmas because they saw and experienced it in the classroom, or what are some STEM items that you can suggest for Christmas gifts? So the kids are really, really enjoying it and wanting those items at home to play and explore. And
I've had several students buy a 3D printer for their house. They've asked for one for Christmas. I had about 5 get a 3D printer last year for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, you guys are contagious.
Yes, we are.
That's fantastic. No, I think, and you go back, I mean, boy, teaching's come a long way.
Oh,
It's come a
yes.
big,
It has.
it's a big,
So much.
Yeah. But that's good. It's changed in a great way. So thank you guys. You've been so generous with your time, and I appreciate you guys coming in. Let's revisit and let's find out what more things that we got coming up. Please come back and thank you for all you do. I mean, thank you, Emily. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. And for the middle school too, Jessica, you guys are all doing a great job. Keep it up. And I think it's just one more, we know that, for our students, it's such a blessing for Salem Community School students to have these opportunity and to have this, and what great skills you guys are teaching. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming in on Education Wednesday. I don't have the sponsors. Thank you, Emily. And we have Meadowview Healthcare Center, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fox Lee Wealth Management, Leader One Financial, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Mama Rosa's. Thank you guys for the great sponsors. Thank you, ladies, for Salem School Corporation. Keep up the great work, and can't wait. We have open house and easy 14th at 4.
Yep, 14th at 4.
14th at 4, middle school, place to be. And everybody, please come out and find out some great things that are going on with Salem School. Thank you, ladies. Again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let branch manager Autumn Scott Hall and her staff at Salem's Leader One Financial Office on the public square help you live your best dream with just the right financing. Autumn and Camissa are licensed for all FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, and jumbo mortgage programs. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned real estate investor, or simply looking for refinancing options, Autumn's team will help you and ensure you receive the right mortgage for your unique financial situation at a competitive and fair price. They'll communicate with you all the information you need to know when you need to know it, while offering the best mortgage loans for your financing needs. Call today to get started, 812-883-0670, or stop in and see Autumn or Camissa today at 18 Public Square, Suite
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. The views and opinions expressed by the show are not necessarily those of the staff and management of this radio station, but they should be.
It is 6 minutes past the hour, the Rick and Bubba Show. I know a lot of folks looking for gift ideas. The women are pretty good at it. Men, we're not so good. But Pajamagram is here. Fellas, soft and silky, a best-selling Christmas gift for her. And they'll throw in a $75 nightie, which could be a gift for both of you. With the naturally smooth pajamas from Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. All right, as we start the hour, Speedy, the birthday boy here, 55. Happy birthday, Speedy. The real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler. Look right there. There's Bill Bubba Bus. Yeah. Hey, that's old Busby. There's old Busby. Hey, I don't want to belabor the skeleton point from last hour because you know that's not my nature. But I don't understand our obsession with 12-foot skeletons, and they're starting to be around year-round. Think about what message are we sending, and I won't say the place. If you live there, you already know. I want you to think about the message. You're kind of struggling. You're struggling for whatever. It might be you need counseling. It's a counseling center.
Oh, wow.
That's what they say, right? So if you need counseling, we'd all agree you're in a rough patch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're having a tough time. They are keeping a 12-foot skeleton, one of these skeletons, out front of the counseling center.
Where?
What kind of message is that? What kind of
Are
message?
you serious?
I'm in a bind. The world's closing in on me. I'm coming to a place for help, and the place represents itself with a giant skeleton.
Yeah.
I mean, that could
saying welcome.
That could be something to send me over the edge.
Look at that.
You know, I'd look at that going,
Maybe I'm there for that
right. I mean, it is
because I'm
a
scared.
counseling center.
I wanna
We
know
have a
about-
giant skeleton in front of a count. What message is that? I mean, isn't that like, you know, you go up to an AA meeting and they've got a giant inflatable bottle of liquor outside? What are we talking
Come
about?
on in.
This is a listener emailed me this. This is a lady trying to steal one of those 12-foot skeletons, and she thinks it's going to fit into her SUV.
I'll be honest. That may be the dumbest person who's ever walked. If you think for 1 second,
Well, first of all,
she needs that lady on that commercial that tells everybody that ain't gonna fit.
That ain't
gonna fit. Hey,
That ain't
right. Yeah.
gonna.
but y'all look, still trying to get it in there.
Why are we? I mean, yeah. Why are we stealing the skeleton for the? I mean, in the
I
first
want to know
place?
how much one of them costs. These people that got them in your
Well, look, Home Depot's got it.
People don't care anymore. We had
Right.
the Christmas tree thief yesterday. We never got to.
That was
Pulled up.
funny.
It was someone was in a parking spot with a Christmas tree, like strapped down to the top
Right.
of their SUV. Somebody pulled in beside him, cut the strings, stole the tree.
shoved
No,
it in
they
the back
did
of
not.
the
Yeah, look, here's the video.
Yeah, watch
It's unbelievable. And they're,
Nice
they're,
vehicle,
they're
too.
in about a $60,000 SUV.
Yeah, they are.
And they can't have their own tree.
Oh, look, hurrying.
Oh, yeah.
Look.
They backed up too. They passed it once and
Yes.
backed up and said, "Okay, I'll go steal that."
Right.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
and just-
There they go.
There
right.
we go.
So really,
Can I ask?
Rick,
you-
that saves me one stop on the way home.
That's it.
what
That's a
kinda-
dad, a desperate dad.
Yeah.
He forgot to get it 3 days
Yeah.
ago. All right, well that I understand. I get that. What kind of sick,
Twisted,
blankety blank are you?
Twisted,
to do that?
stealing somebody's.
Do you? I mean, do
people have no shame